A few years ago, I was having a really hard time in my life. I was depressed. I was not happy. I was broke to make it worse. I really just felt out of myself, and I knew that I was living a life that was not designed for me. It was obvious that I had gone off path. It was obvious that I wasn't living to the full glory of my creator. And it was a very sad time in my life experience. It's not even too far in my past right now as I'm recording this conversation in 2023. I had to face myself. I looked myself in the mirror one day and I said to myself, you are alive. You can change this. If the one thing that is really pissing you off is the fact that you are broke, you can fix that. You've made money before. You are talented. You have skills. You have wisdom. You have understanding. You can make it happen. You can create money around you. And as I was having these conversations with myself, it really made me go deeper, much deeper than just I want to make money. I began to really question, okay, so what is this stuck energy that I am feeling? And of course, if there is stuck energy, you're depressed, you're feeling stuck, you're not happy, then it means that energy, which is all that all of this experience is, it means that energy is not flowing in the direction that it should be flowing. It means that there is such a friction with your energy flow. And so I began to really pay attention to myself and I began to honor myself. And so instead of looking at myself and saying to myself, you are broke, and beating myself up and hating myself for where my life was, I hugged myself and I began to take personal responsibility for where I was. I understood that where I was only a reflection or a reaction to all of the past actions and choices that I had made. And if I wanted something different, if I wanted a different me, then I had to do different things. And one of the very first things that I learned as I began to embark on a very purposeful, intentional journey with making my life better and bringing more money into my experience, one of the first things that I learned was making money is alchemy. It is all alchemy. It is a process of transformation. And so what you're really doing is you are transforming matter from one state to the other one. And for me, at the time, I had nothing. I had nothing but my mind. I had nothing but my knowledge, my wisdom. And I said to myself, I can make money if I can figure out how to sell what I know. Because I really believed that my knowledge was valuable. And bear in mind, at the time, I just knew that the internet was powerful. I just knew that if I could sell my knowledge online, that time I was only thinking about selling ebooks because I'm a writer and writing came naturally to me. And as I sat through these conversations of what can I give? What can I alchemize in exchange for money? It dawned on me that the thing that I could give at the time was my knowledge. And so I began this journey of building an online business and growing an online brand so that I could grow a community of creators, a community of entrepreneurs, and I could sell my knowledge. What I did not expect to happen was that I was going to transform my life completely. I just started because I wanted to make a little bit of change selling ebooks. I wanted to figure out a way to really make this internet money thing actually happen. But that one move to create an ebook, to grow an online business, to grow a social media page, that move has completely changed my life for the better. And I don't know what my life could look like if I did not follow that path, but I'm very grateful that I followed that path because I can see from where I am right now in 2023 that we are still very early in the game that is the online education business. Now, as I began to sell my knowledge online, I began to realize that no matter what happens in this life, no matter where I find myself, if I could just convince someone and prove to the person that I can help them with what I knew, then I could get paid. And so the second thing that money or the art of trying to make money or being broke taught me was that the more you learn, the more you can earn. The more you learn, the more you can earn. This is one thing that has completely really shifted my mindset when it comes to money. And over time, I have proven that this is true. And you have probably proven that this is true in your life. For you to get to a next level, you have to become something different. You have to become a different type of person. You have to learn new skills. You have to gain new experiences. You have to have new insight, new knowledge. And for me, that really started with watching YouTube videos, listening to podcasts, reading so many books. But there was no better education than actually jumping into the field of action and doing the thing. Because no matter how much you read, no matter how many books and online courses you enroll into, if you don't actually put yourself in the line of action and do the work, how can you say that you know? You don't really know if it's all information in your head and you haven't gone through experience to really expand that knowing. How can you say that you know? And so for me, the more that I learned and the more that I stacked on skills and really began to practice what it was that I was learning, the more I began to see more opportunities for me to earn money. And so I grew myself from someone who just wanted to write and sell ebooks, which I did, to becoming someone who was well-versed in marketing. I had to learn copywriting. I had to learn email marketing. I had to learn social media growth. I had to learn audience building. I had to learn how to sell. And all of these new skills were just developing my muscles, developing my intellect, and making me an even better person. I didn't know this at the time, but the one thing or the one skill that I really feel everybody should master in this lifetime is the skill of communication, or even better, how to sell. Because if you learn how to sell, no matter where life takes you, no matter where you find yourself, you will always be able to create money by alchemy. If you commit yourself to learning how to communicate, whether that is by writing, speaking, being on video, talking to someone, when you can communicate ideas and you can transfer ideas from your mind into someone else's mind and you can make them resonate with what it is that you're thinking or what it is that you're trying to do, then selling becomes easy. So communication, knowing how to communicate ideas, is a very powerful skill that is not often talked about, but it is a skill that will serve you for a long time. And in this day and age, everybody needs to become a master salesperson. And we are all salespeople. Every single day, every single moment, you are trying to make a sale. You are either trying to convince someone to do something, you're trying to get somebody's attention, trying to get someone to listen to you, get somebody to give you something. We are always in some type of transaction is the word. We're always in some type of transaction, right? That selling is human. And I know that this is a little bit of a difficult conversation for many of you, because when you think about sales, you think about someone trying to force you to give them your money. You think about someone trying to convince you to buy. You think about, the master sales strategists that are trying to connive their way into your mind and use psychology hacks to, make you do something that you don't want to do in the time. But really, think about this. How else are you going to get the money that you want out of the pockets of the people who have it into your pocket if you're not going to be selling? Selling is really a human thing, and it is something that you have to begin to embrace and accept as totally human. You cannot run away from it. We are all salespeople. And as you go through your journey in this life, you are going to discover for yourself unique ways to sell. And this is not something that people really share a lot, but I've come to understand that if you understand your energy, you understand who you are, then you can create your own sales system. Of course, there are rules and principles that are static and not really movable sometimes. But generally, when you take in information from here and you learn and you pack on things and you read books and you get into online courses and you begin to study more about sales and marketing, eventually you're going to create your own unique process for how you sell. But fundamentally, it is really about getting someone to believe that you can help them or you can provide the value or the service that you say that you can provide, and getting them to the point where they say, yes, take my money. This one skill has completely changed my life. And I credit it to being broke. I credit it to being at a point in my life where I absolutely needed to get money out of other people's pockets into my pockets. And the only way to do that was to sell them something. So if you haven't done this already, I beg you, learn how to sell. Now, as you go through life, you're going to learn very quickly that people pay for value. I know that we live in times where people are swearing by the depression and the economic decline and how there is no money in the system, but everywhere you look, there are still people spending money. People still have money. People are always spending on something. The question is, do you have something of value? And are you positioning it in front of the person who can pay you? Because a lot of the times, people who have something of value, when they try to sell, they self-sabotage themselves, and I'm talking from experience. We self-sabotage ourselves by surrounding ourselves with a group of people who look just like us, who are doing just like us, who are just on the same level financially just like us, and then we wonder why we're not able to make sales. You're surrounded by people who are just like you on the same broke level. And if you want to sell something valuable, then you need to make sure that you not only have something that is valuable, you also have something that is valuable positioned in front of the person who can afford to pay for that value. Because just because something is valuable doesn't mean that it's for everybody. And the big mistake that you're going to make is to try to sell to everybody, because when you do that, you're selling to nobody at all. And so the more I began to dive into this big, grand world of marketing and sales and making money online, I began to understand that I could actually choose who I wanted to work with. I could choose who my best fit client will be. And I could decide that that is the only person that I want to focus on, and that is the only person that I want to sell to. And the more you begin to really focus in on that sort of avatar, and you begin to really streamline the person, you are very specific on who it is that is the best fit for you, the easier selling will be, because there is nothing harder than having something that is so good, having a product or a service or a valuable product or whatever it is that you're selling that is so good, and positioning it in front of the people who cannot see the value. And this is why people like my clients, my students, they come to me and they say things like, oh, Eva, I know that, for example, I know that my course is so valuable, but my followers are not buying. They don't see the value. And the question is, are you putting it in front of the people who actually need it? And are you putting it in front of the people who need it and can pay for it? Because those are two different things. Just because somebody needs something doesn't mean that they can pay for it, you see. And so these are things that you have to start thinking about. You have to start saying to yourself, okay, I know that I have to exchange value for money, but what's even more important than that is making sure that I can position what it is that I am selling in front of the people who can afford to pay for it. Now, here's something else. There is money. Money is abundant. It is available. It is a limitless resource. If you think about money as paper, then that can be limiting. But if you think about money as abundance, as resources, as time, as freedom, as fun, as creativity, if you start thinking about money in this bigger terms, then you realize that there is abundance all around you. Now let's come back to the physical money paper. All the money that you want, whether it's $100,000, $50,000, $1 million, all of that money is in the pockets of other people walking around in the world right now. And for you to get that money out of their pockets into your pocket, you need to begin to position yourself to receive that money, and you need to become an alchemist, right? The one thing that I always say to my students is, when I was broke, I realized that I was broke in my pocket, but I wasn't broke in my mind. And if my mind was ever abundant, ever limitless, and what I could conjure up in my consciousness was limitless and just abundant, then there is no way that I am broke. I can be broke in my bank, but I'll never go broke in my mind, especially if I take personal development seriously, especially if I make learning a priority and I continue to stack on skills in my experience, in my life. I could never go broke in my mind. And with that knowledge inside of me, just knowing that frees me from the shackles of poverty. It frees me from the shackles of being broke. It releases me from the fear that I couldn't survive, that I couldn't thrive in this world. No matter what is going on, no matter where I find myself, I will always from now on put myself on a pedestal and say to myself, you are intelligent. You are talented. You have skills. You know things that can help people. You can transform and you can alchemize what it is that you know in your mind right now. And you can find someone who can pay you. And this keeps me going. And I hope that it does the same for you. My name is Eva. If you've enjoyed this episode today, check out my free guide down below in the description, wherever you're listening or watching this right now. It is titled 17 Things That I Wish Somebody Told Me Before I Ever Monetized Online. If you're about to monetize your knowledge online and sell your knowledge online on the internet with courses, with ebooks or whatever, make sure you read that guide before you start. These are 17 lessons that I wish I knew before I started monetizing online. It's going to change your life. Download it. It's free. It's just linked down below for you. I will see you in the very next one. My name is Eva. Make sure you subscribe and we'll talk soon. Bye.